And so I instantly went in and just changed it. And what's cool is that I have so many opportunities to share Jesus at work. And one of the opportunities came because Vineet, I got hired and I'm kind of a big deal. So they put my picture out there. I'm not a big deal. But it goes out to like 1,000 people that were in the company. This guy in about 2 minutes sends me a text saying, I think you're a Christian. I love Jesus too. And I go, that's great. And he goes, and so him and another guy, Riggio, and I became very good friends just talking on the phone. And so every Tuesday we get together on the phone and we do two things, testimonies and prayer. The first time I met with these guys, they were talking about raising a girl from the dead, that had died. And Riggio, he wasn't there, but Riggio had prayed over her with the other elders in the church, and literally she came back to life. And so that kind of stuff really does happen. And so one of the things I was hoping Vineet could share, he's a missionary with his own church that's very similar to ours. He leads youth, high school. He does, he's a singer. The video we saw, just so you know, he's famous. Him and his wife did that video for India. And so it's the most watched YouTube video in India for that
Wow.
deal. So they've done. He sings. He's not going to sing for us now. Yeah. But I just wanted to share just briefly just about him, how he came to Christ, and a little bit of what they faced in India, in case you wanted to go do a missionary trip to India. So, Vinny, you're up.
Thanks, Roland. And I think the first thing is that when I came here and with Pam and Roland, it's always been so much love. I mean, even on the phone call when Roland is talking, Roland, he's like, he has to. I mean, even there. But great. I mean, it's awesome. So I think India. I mean, for most of us, I don't know how much of you know India very well. Today, it is one of the most coolest place for opportunities. You want to study, you want to grow tech, you want to grow any kind of career, maybe fashion designing, or maybe, that is the place to be, because things are moving very fast in India. I mean, gone are the days where, there were the problems of, things like that. So I think India is a cool destination, and I've been involved with a lot of ministries out there, and I've seen how things are moving out there. I think the kind of stuff that is happening there, it is crazy. You can see masses of people just giving their heart to Christ. And why this is happening is because India is coming to a point to realize that we need to serve a living God. I mean, I have seen, so most of you, there are around 300 to 400 religions in India, and around 30 states. And each state is like a different country altogether. So even if I go to a different state in India, it's like I going to a different nation, different culture, different language. I'm not able to relate immediately. So I need to get into that. So it's got 29 states. I mean, even if you go in the US, the basic thing will remain the same. You'll all have the same kind of a breakfast, or, the common culture remains the same here. In India, it's all 30 states are different. So it's equally exciting. So you have a lot of colors. You have a lot of religions, and to spread the gospel there is even more powerful, because that's where you get a hybrid of everything. And that's where, when you realize that, how do you find your God is powerful? When you realize and people start seeing. So the audience in India is huge. It's 1.3 billion population, right? So great work happening out in India. For me, the biggest thing, so I'm an engineer by profession, and so what was the turning point in my life? So when I just went from high school to my professional course in engineering, the first year I was like all out. I came out from a boys' college, so I wanted to enjoy the life in the best possible way. And in possibly in the second year, now professional engineering education is serious. So I kind of flunked in 2 subjects, and I was like, God, what's happening with me? Out of the whole way, I was a person who's trying to live. I was an average kid. I used to do well in my studies and all, but suddenly I had all of this happening, and it so happened that in a season I was down in my dumps. I was almost planning to give up, and that's where I just.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Did you guys happen to see a horse walking around by itself?
Yeah.
It was like a painted pony kind of.
Was there a person with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking for a horse. A rider lost a horse.
No, we haven't seen one.
Okay.
That one had a person with it. There's a woman on the other side.
It's a different. Yeah, we asked. There's two painted horses.
Yeah, we didn't see the one by itself.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Oh no.
Watch, we're gonna see the horse. And
It's gonna like come like hiding behind the trees. Like, thanks.
Right.
You saw a mouse.
Yeah. So I think
Moving now.
you know that whole experience. You know, I was down in my dumps. I was planning to leave engineering, and that's when I gave my life to God, Christ. You know, through one of the big, huge Christian concerts happening there, and I gave my life to Christ. And then after that, so happened I was a failure. I ended up passing out as a university topper. I mean, from racks. I mean, an average person like me. And then it so happened I started, you know, God started using me in different ministries out there, and it's crazy, you know, you kind of see the thirst in India. It's difficult. It's not that, you know, it's difficult when you go outreach in different religions. You need to respect the other culture and the religion. But trust me, the heart, you know, people are all sold out. I mean, it's only you realize sometimes, do we have enough people to reach out to 1.5 billion population? Do we have so many harvesters who can go out there and speak to people? Because, you know, what's that verse? The harvest is huge and the
workers are few.
workers are few and the harvest is huge. I think that's the scenario there. The only thing is that if you plan to go there, you should take the basic precaution. I think Tess, you're more experienced in this, but I think that's the right way. You pick up a organization, go with a registered organization there, have somebody covered under you. I mean, don't just go independently, because now the rules are becoming like, you know, the new government there is like trying to promote Hinduism big time, and they are trying to cut off, missionaries coming out there. But if you see a lot of work in India, Indian education was built by missionaries. If you go out anywhere in India, you'll see all the schools have been developed by missionaries, and things like that. I know my uncle and aunt who are doctors in a village in one of the mission hospitals. So I think mission hospital is one field where you think of going out there. There's a field of education. I think there's a lot of chance in India to, if you want to help people in education, I think that's one area that is good. And then of course the humanitarian grounds, you have seeking the needy, and all those things are pretty common, and there are a lot of opportunities there. But honestly speaking, I think the way India is moving right now, people are not only, I had friends from China and friends from Europe who are traveling down there now to actually do their higher education. So it's a great land of opportunity currently, and it wasn't, if you say almost 7-8 years back, it wasn't at that pace, but now it's really going great. So I think if you guys are thinking about pursuing certain education there, or pursuing certain kind of ministry, I think it's a right place to be in, because as I said, the harvest is huge. Yeah.
Just one question for you, just in terms of one of the things we get on almost every week is end times, and one of the things, any thoughts on end times when it comes to the guys down there? Do they see things that are happening? And
Yeah, absolutely. I think the end times are very clear, right? Okay, the current government has known that the education system, if you see whatever education system is in India, the backbone is Christianity. So you go to any school there, you'll have the Lord's Prayer being taught, and somewhere the new government is not cool with this. So now what they're trying to do is they're trying to eradicate that. They're trying to make it more secular, right? So this is expected. This is end times. You'll have lesser things. Opportunities will be closed. But the point is, the thirst becomes even more higher. So because of this, what happens is you see people coming out more frequently to, you have a Christian concert, or you have, one thing that we do in our church is on the 24th night, our church is in the main street, something like downtown, right? And you have the entire church open from 11 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. That's a Christmas Eve. And you have all kinds of people walking out. I had sadhus and those kind of people wanting to come inside the church and see what is this Christmas all about, and things like that. So I think as I said, the end times are very relevant in the sense that, like how she talked about Turkey, I think I'm seeing this story almost in every nation. So I would say that, guys, the time is going out, you know, very soon. I mean, you guys are all privileged that you have a Bible. You can walk with the Bible in your hand. You go to countries like Middle East. My dad was in Saudi Arabia for most of his life. He used to go under, there's a secret police that she talked about, right? There is an underground house where the house is made like a discotheque. So from out it looks like it's a hotel restaurant, but inside people are worshipping. So they have kept a secret camera. So when the secret police comes, they automatically turn everything into a barbecue, and there's chicken roasting, grill, yeah. And this is exactly what happens, you know. And you know, my dad always used to tell me that you don't know the value of holding a Bible. When you go there, you will understand that, you know, how difficult it is to even get the word of God. And I think we should really, you know, we've been blessed in a country like you know, States, where you guys have the freedom to, you know, talk and you know, the freedom to talk about the gospel, but that's not the case everywhere. So, but yeah, we need a lot of ministries, because trust me, the heart of India is very open. If you ask me, if you compare India and a Muslim nation, it's a lot more easier to win people in India. So the souls there, they love, and the culture of India is such that it's very accommodating to guests. So if a guest comes, so there's a tag in India called Atithi Deva Bhava. Means what? It means a guest should be treated like a god. So when a guest comes, you go to any Hindu house or anybody, they will not have food in their house, but they'll still give you a meal, or you know, those kind of things. So because of that kind of an accommodating nature, I'm not saying you'll have that everywhere, but that's how it is, right? So you get chance to go out there and see things, and yeah.
I'm gonna have this whole table come this way. You guys come over here. We're gonna gather around this one table. We're gonna do a quick